Up next, the job report for the month of March, just days away. A Fox Business reporter tells us what to expect. And
I should say that our work isn't done.
President Obama signs the Stock Act today. All that and more tonight on Fox 5 News at 9.
Your first local news at 9 starts right now, only on Fox 5 at 9.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Emily Scarlett. The state of Montana helps make employment a reality for thousands of its disabled residents, but one program now doing that could be shut down. Fox 5's Ashley Rodriguez has been checking into this story. Ashley, what program are we talking about?
Emily, a variety of programs were discussed at a public hearing yesterday. The hearing was conducted through video conference, which gave 8 different areas throughout the state a chance to provide feedback on programs that serve people with disabilities.
Cities that participated included Billings, Bozeman, Butte, Kalispell, Miles City, Missoula, Great Falls, and Helena. Attendees who commented spoke highly of vocational rehabilitation that helps disabled people rejoin the workforce, youth transition programs which help disabled high school students attend college or find employment, and independent living services. Most of the participants, though, are worried about WIPA, or Work Incentive Planning and Assistance, that helps Social Security beneficiaries return to work. The program's federal funding ends in June, and currently its renewal is being held up in Congress, which in effect would shut it down across the country.
I am a strong proponent of this program because it has helped so many of us achieve and find work that I would feel very devastated if these federal things happen to this program and cuts happen.
Vocational rehabilitation officials say the goal of the public hearing was to gather feedback that they can use to better meet the needs of disabled people and to take back to Washington and the state legislature to secure funding.
They are still taking public comment and highly suggest that people who use WIPA let their representatives know the program is important. Written comments can be sent in to mhermanson@mt.gov. In the studio, Ashley Rodriguez, Fox 5.
Thank you, Ashley. When it comes to the country's recovery, it all comes back to jobs. And with the jobs report for the month of March just days away, here's the latest on employment in the U.S.
According to payroll processor ADP, private business hired 209,000 people last month. That's above economists' expectations. Revised numbers for February indicate the economy added 230,000 jobs. And while Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner says President Obama's policies avoided a recession, there are still major risks to the recovery.
Our economy is still in the process of deleveraging, dealing with significant burdens of household debt, these excess investments in real estate and other forms of debt.
And as the country's deficit continues to rise, Geithner says that deficit fears can't get in the way of more government investment.
There is no economic or financial case today for using the fear of our long-term future deficits to cut as deeply into the core function of the government.
And while ADP indicated that private companies are adding jobs, all eyes are on Friday. At 8:30 a.m., the Labor Department releases its March jobs report. According to estimates, economists expect to add a little more than 200,000 jobs. The unemployment rate is expected to remain the same at 8.3%.
Moving into weather now, Chief Meteorologist Adam Coslin is here with a first look at our forecast.
Well, good evening. Certainly a delightful day. We actually had record high temperatures in parts of the high line, but big changes are in store. Let's take a look at your Fox First weather. Winter storm watch is active in central Montana. We'll check out these counties and look at some significant changes as we head into your Thursday and Friday. Even more widespread snow is expected. Let you know if which areas will see these accumulations in your weather authority. Emily, back to you.
Thanks, Adam. Mitt Romney appears to be making the pivot to the general election campaign, coming off 3 solid primary wins Tuesday. And if there's any doubt about that, just listen to the heated rhetoric between Romney and President Obama. Underlying this tension is the idea of Mitt Romney as the presumptive nominee. Meanwhile, 3 other Republican presidential candidates say that's premature.
To consider the president's plan, but he doesn't have one.
One of my potential opponents, Governor Romney, has said that he hoped a similar version of this plan from last year would be introduced as a bill on day 1 of his presidency.
Meanwhile, Newt Gingrich, Ron Paul, and Rick Santorum insist they will not be swept under the rug during the back and forth between the White House and Mitt Romney. It's a bill designed to stop insider trading by members of Congress. Today, the president signing the Stop Trading on Congressional Knowledge, or STOCK Act. It's a bipartisan bill preventing members of Congress from trading stocks based on non-public information obtained on Capitol Hill. It makes it clear that members of Congress are subject to the same insider trading laws that apply to everyone else.
It's the notion that the powerful shouldn't get to create one set of rules for themselves and another set of rules for everybody else. And if we expect that to apply to our biggest corporations and to our most successful citizens, it certainly should apply to our elected officials.
Considered a priority of his administration, President Obama addressed the issue during his January State of the Union address. That's when the president said if he were sent a bill banning insider trading by members of Congress, he would sign it into law. To stay ahead of the oil and gas boom in Montana, state lawmakers audited the Board of Oil and Gas back in September. They wanted to make sure the board is successfully overseeing the industry. 6 months later, some recommendations are being implemented. Fox 5's Charlie Keegan has been following the story.
Emily, the audit found field representatives had not inspected more than half of the active wells in the state within the past 5 years, and 20% of the wells with a deficiency did not get a follow-up inspection. It also said the board is not consistently enforcing timetables to solve certain issues like spills. Tom Richmond, the administrator at the Board of Oil and Gas, says he wasn't surprised by the results of the audit because he'd been working with staff to help put together the report. The Legislative Audit Committee wanted to study the board because of the increase in natural resource development. Officials wanted to see how taxpayer money was being spent and wanted to ensure public safety was being kept at a high priority. So the audit gave recommendations to standardize and improve the process. One improvement legislators hope to see is better documentation of well inspections.
It's not so much that we were missing important events as that they weren't particularly well documented, and so they became hard to determine whether or not we were there.
It's big business in the state, but we want to make certain that big business is done correctly and follow certain rules and procedures, and in that case, then everybody wins.
Since December, the board has been working with Montana Tech University to help put together a plan to better document and prioritize well inspections. On April 25th, Montana Tech will propose an all-inclusive model to train inspectors and upgrade to a digital way of keeping records. The preliminary contract with Tech cost $5,000. Richmond said there's no solid estimate on how much the next phase will cost. Charlie Keegan, Fox 5.
Thanks, Charlie. Whooping cough reaching epidemic levels in Washington state. Health officials urging all children and adults to get their booster shot to help ease the spread of the disease. More than 600 cases of whooping cough have been reported in 23 counties in Washington as of the end of last month. That's putting the state on track to have the highest number of reported cases in decades. State Health Secretary Mary Selicki says they're concerned about the trend and want to stop it. She's urging everyone to get their booster shots.
Babies are too young to be vaccinated, often get the disease from their parents and other relatives. That's why we want teens and adults to get their booster shot for whooping cough.
Whooping cough is a highly contagious respiratory illness spread by coughing and sneezing. Infants are particularly vulnerable to the disease. Well, Adam, I'm afraid to hear what's coming up for the rest of the week.
Yeah, well, you were talking about whooping cough. We got some whooping winds and, well, in fact, some snow in the forecast, enough that there's winter storm watches posted across central Montana. So we're going to take a look at all the details of our weather changes coming up. Here's tonight's Almanac.
Your Weather Authority forecast continues right now on Fox 5 at 9.
Welcome back. Our tower cam tonight showing clear conditions in Great Falls. Let's check on our record book today. We had to break this out for Havre. You broke the record. 74 degrees today makes history, replacing the 2003 temperature of 73, or the 2000 temperature, I should say. Winter storm watches here posted in central Montana, including Lewistown and Fergus County and Great Falls and Cascade County, as well as Judith Basin, Broadwater, and Marr counties, forecasting 8 to 16 inches of snow. Let's keep that up in the mountains, but there's still several inches possible in the valleys and plains, so be aware of travel hazards, winds mixing in, and low visibilities. starting Thursday evening. The worst will be during the day Friday, so this continues until late Friday night. Pretty mild tonight still for a lot of areas to the east, but cooler air is beginning to filter in behind this latest frontal boundary, and it's now located across central Montana. Or mostly cloudy in Great Falls, partly cloudy in Lewistown, Havre, and Cutbank, meanwhile clear out on the fringes in Glasgow and Helena. But right in the middle here, that's where this low pressure is spinning off some showers, and you see this snow behind it in this picture. Stronger storm's going to move through and really deliver those amounts for Friday. 47 current temperature in Great Falls, 37 in Kalispell, 51 in Glasgow. So it's a variable picture across the Big Sky country tonight. Winds are the strongest in Havre right now, sustained at 30 miles per hour. Gusts are even closer to 40. Moving into your Thursday, the jets right overhead, the fronts pushing through. This is ushering in the rain and the snow together at times, causing slick road conditions, much colder temperatures. That's going to be the real shock outside once we move through tomorrow. The heaviest snow our model's putting in the southwest, several inches. Less than an inch in Great Falls, could get a couple inches in Helena, and almost 3 inches of accumulation for Lewistown. The northern areas not picking up nearly as much. 20s and 30s overnight. This takes us into Thursday with a high of 47 in Great Falls. Slight chance for rain or snow, a better chance by the evening, and then that switches over to snow for Friday, and it'll be even colder. 50 in Helena, 45 in Lewistown tomorrow. Cutbank, mid-40s, 50 in Shelby, and 53 in Havre. Maybe just a quickly passing shower, but we'll keep it partly sunny for Glasgow with a high of 60, 65 in Wolf Point, and just 50s in Malta and Scobie, even a little bit cooler over in Hayes. 30-degree temperatures, not far above freezing, and we're going to dip below Friday night, and this is where we get the snow accumulations. Our model, again, keeping it to close to an inch or 3/4 of an inch, but there's some models even going as high as 3 to 5 inches of snow. Saturday, lingering shower, and then Easter Sunday, skies brighten up just like magic, and we'll see temperatures rebound with a strong ridge of high pressure. It's a bit of everything in Helena, 40s, 50s, 60s, just like that. Emily, back to you.
Coming up, Yahoo facing its 6-mass layoff, losing thousands of employees. And what are Will and Kate so stiff about? That's in tonight's entertainment update, up next on Fox 5 News at 9. Only 8 finalists left on American Idol, and Judge Randy Jackson says he needs your help. Surprise, surprise, Justin Bieber breaking records with his latest single, and Princess Kate getting waxed. That's all in tonight's entertainment update. With only 3 opportunities left for the Idol judges to save a finalist, there's little room for error. The contestants have been mentored with the likes of will.i.am, Mary J. Blige, and Sean Combs. And veteran American Idol judge Randy Jackson says with just 8 finalists remaining, it's just too close to call.
Make sure you vote for your favorites to stay in the competition. There's 8 left. Come on, America.
Justin Bieber's new single, Boyfriend, has sold a whopping 520,000 downloads in its first week, placing the 18-year-old singer in the #2 spot for first week sales of all time. The hit track will be included on his upcoming album, Believe. And the Duchess of Cambridge gets waxed. Kate is the latest addition to the royal family, and Wednesday her wax figure took its place right next to the figure of her husband, William, and other members of the royal family. People just can't get enough.
People from all around the world want to see her, and I think it's because she's beautiful, she seems so warm, so friendly, and she's very stylish.
Officials say it continues a royal relationship that goes back 180 years. And that's your entertainment update.
Yahoo officially announcing plans to lay off 2,000 employees. The much-anticipated move is part of a new CEO, Scott Thompson's plan to cut costs and refocus the company. Some of the employees will be kept on to help finish various projects. The cuts announced Wednesday represent about 14% of the more than 1,400 workers employed by Yahoo. The house cleaning marks Yahoo's 6th mass layoff in the past 4 years under 3 different CEOs. Earlier this evening, Carroll College students took part in their Easter egg scramble. The event began in 2007 and has been a tradition ever since. The over 3,000 eggs held candy as well as slips for prizes, including a camcorder, DVDs, and other goodies. More than 400 students lined up for the event, and they say it's one of those holiday traditions that just never gets old. It's a locally created nonprofit called My Neighbor in Need. Its purpose is to help connect those with needs to those who can help, and they just celebrated their 50th need fulfilled. Fox 5's Rachel Osley has been following My Neighbor in Need since it was being planned. Rachel, what's unique about this need?
My Neighbor in Need has only been up and running for 2 weeks, and already it's gone international. Today's need was fulfilled by an anonymous man in Afghanistan with the help of some Great Falls locals.
A tree branch threatens a single woman's home. Removing it was on her late husband's to-do list, but it just never got done. Within 24 hours of her need being posted on My Neighbor in Need, a stranger in Afghanistan answered her call.
And I thought, wow, we're open literally 2 days, and here someone is, tens of thousands of miles away who wants to help a total stranger.
First thing that came to my mind was my mom is also single, and if she needed something to get done, I would like to know that while I'm here in Montana and she's in Pennsylvania, that there'd be somebody there to take care of that for her.
This request hit home for AJ's Tree and Landscape Service, so they're doing the job at cost and threw in $100 of their own, which another local matched, covering the $500 job.
If you or a neighbor is in need and have nowhere to turn, check out My Neighbor in Need's website on your screen. Also remember to pay it forward. You can help someone without writing a check. In the studio, Rachel Osley, Fox 5.
Well, it's great to see people helping out, huh?
Always.
Well, Zach Glover joins us now with sports, and Grizz Nation still a bit unsettled from what's happened over the past week.
They certainly are. It always takes time in these situations dealing with the fallout of all this. But newly named interim head coach Mick Delaney has high hopes for what's to come. We'll talk to the Grizz's new leader after the break, and we'll bounce around the region as we've reached the midway point of the spring football season. Come on back. Sports is next.
Total sports coverage. Fox 5 Sports starts right now.
This time last week, the Grizz football team was getting ready for their much-anticipated scrimmage under the new stadium lights when Montana President Royce Engstrom turned the lights out on both Robin Pflugrad and Jim O'Day. The torch has now been handed to longtime assistant Mick Delaney, who tells us he already sees a light at the end of what could be a long tunnel.
That Mr. O'Day and Robin are very, very good friends of mine, and they're very good people, both of them. So, that's a hard decision when your friends are let go in a situation like that. And obviously, that weighed real heavy on me. And I did talk to Robin before I told Dr. Engstrom yes. And, he's very, very hurt still, and, it's a traumatic situation. So the pros were, yes, obviously, I know the kids and the coaches, and hope that, that they would be with me, but with the program. It's not about me, it's about them. Because, like I said, the kids, we have excellent football players at U of M, and they're kids that know how to work and know how to win, and, and as is usually the case in something like this, the young men are probably a lot more resilient than we as adults are. And, they're anxious to get going, and they want to do what they've been doing for 20 years, and that is work really, really hard and win championships.
Well, you never really know what to fix until you know what's broken. And after the first scrimmage last Saturday, Montana State was able to evaluate the progress of each offensive and defensive unit. The Cats say they're happy to now have that frame of reference. Head coach Rob Ash said the defense would implement new coverages this week, I should say, while the offense installs new plays and practices what to do in the red zone. Ash also noted that the overall speed of scrimmaging helps all units in practice, especially their young offensive line.
Offensive line is still young. I mean, they're trying really hard, but they still have a lot of plays where they don't get a hat on every hat, or where they just can't execute the blocks, and so we've just got to keep working on that. But I'm really happy with their progress so far. We just need to keep improving. The real bullets, when you're out there and you've got those guys like Caleb Schreibeis and Brad Daly rushing on the edge, you learn quickly how fast you have to get set on pass protection, and you learn when you're trying to block quick linebackers like we have just how quickly you've got to get up to the second level to get linebackers. And so I guess it's really the speed of the game.
The Ore Diggers of Montana Tech continue to use last year's 3-win season as motivation heading into 2012. While 3-8 is never the goal, the Diggers return a young nucleus of players, and they say things are looking up. Dominic Sheldon has more from Butte.
It may not have been the most successful season based on record last year for the Ore Diggers, but since their final game, they've been making strides and are happy with their progress in the offseason.
We're looking really good right now. We're all in pretty solid shape. Worked our butts off this winter condo. Coming out feeling good about getting pads on, flying around.
In his second season at the helm, head coach Chuck Morella is seeing the changes he's looking for, and he couldn't be happier.
It's been great so far. I've had perfect weather. Our guys are a year into our system now, which is awesome. I mean, just bringing a lot of energy to practice. They also know what they're doing, and you know, we as coaches have a better feel for our players this time around too. So we're off to a super fast start right now.
Everybody's pretty much got their schemes dialed in. It's taken pretty much the whole year. It took a while to get used to, but now that everyone's locked in, we're looking a lot better.
Whether you talk to the players, coaching staff, or incoming recruits, there's an undeniable excitement about the football program.
Just so many good things going on campus right now. I think that feeds into it. You know, new uniforms this year. We've got a new locker room. We've got a new weight room. Just so many things going on. And again, our team is very young, and I think that's a big thing that's bringing a lot of enthusiasm to our overall future picture right now.
In Butte, Dominic Sheldon, ABC 5.
That's Check on Sports. Thanks, Dominic. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back. We're watching a late winter, early spring storm, which could deliver 8 to 16 inches of mountain snow. Winter watches out, including Great Falls, for several inches possible Friday.
Well, that's all we have for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow on Fox 5 News at 9.